Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. It is April the 21st already. 22nd. Oh my goodness, it's the 22nd. I've been up. I was just getting things ready to go here. Took me a little time to get everything together. Good morning. This is Meri at the.meri.atelier. And I am going to do an impromptu live stream. I'm ready to do some art this morning. Yes, I am. Oh, let's get the stream up here on my... Oh, what happened to my... What happened to my... Sometimes this phone moves things around on me. All right, there it is. I was looking for my YouTube. Ooh, I couldn't sign on because I'm not signed on. I am signing on. I don't see anybody in the room yet, so we will just not worry about it. Let's see. Oh, there is one. There's Linda. Hello, Linda. Hello. Good morning. Linda, I'll bet you're getting awfully excited to go on your trip, aren't you? Happy Easter to you. Yes, we had a really good Easter yesterday, a really relaxing one. I was actually up early, very early yesterday. I had my own private sunrise service. Oh, dear. How far are you away from leaving? You're just a couple days, aren't you, away from leaving on your trip? Yeah, totally excited. You're prepping today. You can't stay so long. Okay, I get it. 7 days a week. I'm excited for you. I'm excited for you. Let's see. I need to lower my camera just a bit here. There. Well, I got some happy mail. I thought I'd open it first. I got some happy mail from Aunt Beck. And I thought I'd show these 3 little kitty cats. I'm wondering if she carved that stamp. I'm wondering if she carved that. It's so cute. So I have some happy mail. Aunt Beck, I was not expecting this. Let's see. Shall I open it with my... We transplanted hostas yesterday. Boy, could I tell that I needed to get outside and do some work in the garden. Not only the garden, boy, I'll tell you, I've had a winter where I haven't exercised too much, and my body felt it yesterday. So I'm going to have to get out and work in the garden more this summer, I think. See if I can't get this open. Well, all I really need to do is get it open here. Use my palette knife as a letter opener. There we go. Let's see what Aunt Beck sent. Oh, Aunt Beck. What did she do here? She sent me some doodles and a round coin which says grateful. An ATC coin that says grateful. Thank you, Aunt Beck. I am grateful. Let's see what she says here. Life doesn't have to be perfect to be wonderful. And look, it's a splash of watercolor here. And it is wonderful. She's got some gold splashes on there. What a neat card. Just some happy mail to brighten your mailbox and to help fill your April journal. Happy arting, Becky, Aunt Beck. Yes. Where's my journal? I'm not sure what I did with my journal this morning. I'll have to hunt for it. I might have taken it in the other room. An ATC, a doodle ATC. Oh, ATC Doodle Up from Becky. Oh, I have to open this up. Oh, I'm going to have to do a doodle one for she does those doodle prompts that I do on Friday nights, and she does such a beautiful job on them. Look at that. Only I don't think these are from I don't think these are from Friday night. I think these are some of her own. Oh, they're wonderful, Aunt Beck. Oh, wow. They're just wonderful. Yes, these will go in my art journal. I got everything ready this morning except for my art journal. Oh, look more. Oh, look, she did a doodle just at the moment. It's a doodle coin. Oh, Aunt Beck, that's cool. Oh, it looks like a house with a door on it. Just at the moment. Wow, how cool is that? And here's some more doodles. Doodle with Meri on April 15th, 2019. Oh, I remember. This was off of the spine of that book. I recognize all of these. Oh, she does such a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful work. Oh, wow, Aunt Beck. I'm honored to have these. I love how she sections off her pages when she does these. Very nice. Very, very, very nice work. Hi, Katina. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Hi, Mitzi. Good morning. Linda says, Mitzi, hi. And Mitzi says, hi, McGlinda. Yeah, cool doodles. And Katina, I don't think I've seen you in here before. You're very welcome. Welcome in here. Good morning. Hi, Teresa. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I've got some happy mail from Aunt Beck. Look at this. And I love it. This was on the 19th. I think this was the weekend she was working down at her house. And she grabbed an ink pen and she does beautiful. Or is this the last? This is 3/29. This was a couple weekends ago. I think she might have been working down at her house that weekend. Oh, Aunt Beck, you're so sweet. I'm going to have to send her some doodles now. I can't remember if I sent her a big doodle envelope or not. Aunt Beck, did I send you a big doodle envelope, a manila envelope where I doodled? If not, I'm going to have to send you one. I can't remember if I did 3 big ones when I very start doing them. And then I kind of said I got to, and Aunt Beck, if you're watching this on replay, did you make those kitty cat stamps? Those are wonderful. I love those. All righty. Now all I have to do is find out what I did with my art journal. I don't see it in my room here, so I'm gonna have to put these in maybe tomorrow, so you guys can see that I put them in my art journal. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to work on, Dede sent this. I wanted to do it yesterday, but, and I planned to do it yesterday afternoon. However, I got called to help with plant those hostas, and boy, that really tired me out. So I didn't have any energy to do it. Dede sent me, I'm going to have to zoom out to show you this entire, I've shown it before, but let's zoom out one more maybe. Yeah. Dede sent me this big, huge, she draws on this, she calls them scrolls. She draws on this drawing paper, this brown craft paper. She does these huge drawings, and then she'll unroll it like a scroll, and then she'll cut them off. Just beautiful. And I happened to be in there the morning she was doing this one, and she said, Meri, do you want this? Dede Willingham. How could I say no to Dede Willingham? Art. Let's see. Let's see if I can't aim this camera up a little. It's hard to, I don't want to. You're either going to get the line at the top of my desk or the line at the bottom. I'm going to let you get the line at the top up here. This is where my desk ends. You can see my desk is only just about 20 inches wide. That's about as tall as wide as my desk, and it's probably only about a yard. I mean, about 18 inches by 36. That's all the space I have to work on, and then I have at least a foot here, so over here and maybe 6 inches over there. So, yeah, I only have about 24 inches in here to work. About 18 by 24 is all the workspace I have here. That's about the area of this piece. It's huge art when you look at this. And I love these little chickies. I just love the little chickies. And I know I say they go up this carrot, and I love I think I can, I think I can, I think I can, I think I can. Whee! They're diving off the high board, you know? How the swimming pools have the low board and the high board. Well, these little chickies, you know, they're going for the high board here. And then they're diving into a palette of color. And they just get, the eyes are so cute. Little chickies, you can't see the eyes, but they've got a little black spot with a little white twinkle in them. And the bunny rabbit. I've got to show this one more time. Easter's over with, but I have to show it one more time. Well, while she was drawing all of this, she was telling about how she used to do art, and then she'd ask questions to somebody, and the person would answer the questions. So she said, Meri, if I send you this, you got to answer these questions. Over here it says, Meri is now a rabbit trail. And so I have to answer all these questions about myself. And I decided that what I was going to do was coat this with Liquitex Medium. And let's see, I've got my markers, my big fresh markers here, and I want to test it to make sure this marker doesn't soak through. If it soaks through, I'll have to quit on this and find another way to do it. But I think I tested this on another project, and they didn't soak through. So I think I'll be okay. Look, I got prompts here. I was writing down the alternates. Hurry, I need to find something to write on, and I grabbed this packaging. Wrote the alternate prompts. The alternate prompts. All right, we're going to test this in this corner, right up. Now pull it down so you can see it. Right in here. I'm going to draw a line here. Big, thick line. See, it doesn't come through. That Liquitex Medium bars it from soaking through. So, let's look at chat. Hi, Anya. Isn't that a beautiful piece? Linda, let's see if I can get my water over just a teeny bit. Okay, so I'm going to do the mind map. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to mind map my questions that she asked. Now, I'm going to bore you guys because this is all going to be all about Meri. Oh, you're mailing something to me today, Mitzi? You guys, I can't keep up with you. Thank you so much in advance. So when you draw mind maps, if you look at the guy, I think his name is Tony somebody. He was the originator of mind maps, and he's still alive. I follow him on Twitter, but Buzan, something like that. Buzin. I can't remember his exact last name. I should have gotten it out before I came here, but I'm just kind of talking off the top of my head. But he uses a lot of color on his mind maps. But I'm just going to use a big fat marker here. And Dede does the circle. That's where she puts the theme. And then she comes and asks the who, what, why, when, and where. Well, this one's going to be a little bit different. I'm going to put the circle in Meri, but then I'm going to put all of her questions out over this way. And I might add a couple of my own. So let's just put a medium-sized circle here. It doesn't have to be huge. So I'm going to get to answering these questions. Now, I thought that I may show my face when I did this, but it's 4:30 in the morning. I'm not going to show my face at 4:30 in the morning. So I'm just going to put Meri here. Just write my name, M. And my real name is Meridel. So, but we're going to put Meri here because I go by Meri at the.meri.atelier. And I should open this other one just to make. Here, let's get my pen out here. I'm going to write the.meri.atelier here. TheMeriAtelier. Now, my real name, my given name is Meridel. So we'll put that up here. How did I get that name? My mother named me out of a Red Book magazine. That's what she tells me. My last name is Abrams. And I'll tell the story of that. Let's work two here. I'm not going to tell you a lot of personal details. That's not the object of this. But I will tell you that my mother named me from a Red Book magazine when she was those were the days where, you went into the hospital a couple days, when you went into labor or whatever. She was in the hospital. I guess she was waiting for my arrival. But she wanted to name my grandmother's middle name was Meri, and my grandmother wanted to name me Meri. Well, Mom didn't want to name me Meri. She wanted a more unique name, M-A-R-Y. My grandmother wanted to name me M-A-R-Y. And my mother saw this name, M-E-R-I-D-E-L, and she thought that was a pretty name. She was reading a Red Book magazine. And I asked my mother, I asked her what the story was about. She couldn't tell me what the story was about. And I said, well, how did it end? And she told me that she didn't know because it was a 2-part story. So my conclusion was that is I have to write the second part. And so my grandmother, I guess, was happy that at least she got the Meri in there. So that's how I got my name. Hi, Aunt Beck. Aunt Beck, did you see me open your Happy Mail? All the heavy food from the weekend has my stomach a wreck. Time to get back on track. Aunt Beck, I love my Happy Mail. Did you carve these stamps here, Aunt Beck? You carved the kitty? This is really cute. I love it. I absolutely love it. is very cute. And then all those doodles on the inside. Thank you. I'm not going to show them all again. I went through them all when I opened, and you know what's in there. But yes, I will be putting these in my April journal, which I don't have with me, and I don't want to stop and go hunt for it. But I'll be streaming tomorrow morning, and I'll put them in my journal tomorrow morning. I don't know what I did with my journal. I think I left it in the other room. Sometimes I carry it into where I sit on the recliner, and I thought I had it in here. It wasn't in here. I'm doing a mind map to satisfy all these questions from Dede. And they're mostly favorites here. They are beautiful doodles, Becky. I love those. Becky, you do such a wonderful job with those doodles. Wonderful. Now I lost my marker here. All right, so I'm going to, I kind of told you the story of how I got my name. So I'll be adding a few more little details in there, but I'm not going to tell you all my personal information. But if you have any questions, if they're appropriate, I will answer them if you think it's something that wants to go on this mind map. But let's go ahead with let's go ahead with my favorite. Now, these are all favorites. Linda is asking if Greg is back from his asking Becky if her son went on a hippie adventure. All right, I'm going to put this out of the way so that I can work. So I'll check chat here in a minute, periodically while I'm doing this. So I could draw a line and put favorites. And then work off of all the favorites here. I think I'll do that. So I'm going to draw a line way up here. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Well, there's probably about 25 of them. So we're going to draw a line and we're going to put favorites. Wait, can you see that? You can barely see it, but you can see it. Favorites. And let's make sure that this isn't soaking through. It's not soaking. Oops, there goes my phone. I got a notice from Verizon Saturday in the mail. I got a notice from Verizon Saturday that they're going to change my plan. I got 1 more month to pay on my phone. It's mine. But they're going to change my warranty plan. They're going to charge me $2 more for it. But I noticed on there that they said it will guarantee any screen breakage multiple time things. You're going, I'm going to break the screen on this phone again. I drop it so many times. All right, favorites. My phone will be paid for in May, though. I'll keep it for a couple months before I break it. Let's see. By the way, welcome to everybody who's come in, everybody who's watching. Aunt Beck said she's answering Linda's question about her son. It was her son went to a hippie event, and Aunt Becca's Linda asked if he was back yet, and Aunt Beck said yes. It was a one-day event. He had to pay camp overnight, but it got too cold for the tent and sleeping bag. He was not far from the house, so he decided to come on home. So there you go. I hope you had a great time being a hippie for the day. All right, what's my favorite color? Well, surprisingly, I love gold right now. But, I used to be red. So a lot of things with favorites, they change throughout the years. So what's my favorite? I'm going to date this as 2019 because 5 years from now, I may not have the same favorites. I'm a very, what do you want to say? Changeable person. I change my mind I may decide in 5 years that I love the color blue. So right now, you all know that I go for the gold. Right now, my favorite color is gold in 2019. But like I said, 3 or 4 years ago, I was going for red. I love reds. I love coppers. So let's see. But my color palette itself, I'm going to put a line down here and put. I go for earth tones. I go for the earth tones and the muted neutral tones on my color palette when I do art. I'm not a person that loves reds and purples and greens, pinks, and pastels. My color palette lends more toward browns, muted blues, muted greens, any color that's been muted, toned down. I go for those. I go for a muted neutral palette and the earth tone color. So that's my color palette. Blacks and golds. I could be putting gold on here, but I don't have a gold marker with me. I'm just going to do this in black. Hi, Azure. Good morning. I was reading chat there. Aunt Beck and Scott. I tell you, Aunt Beck, when I went out yesterday to help my brother replant those hostas, he did the most of the digging. I mean, we had to dig up the spot. We're transplanting them. My brother, when he transplanted, when he moved to this house, he transplanted some hostas that were from my mother's house. My mother and dad were still alive. And they were doing beautiful down in front of his front porch. We got the front porch, and then there's a little garden spot down in front. And they were doing beautiful there. But we also there's a corner. We live on the corner of the house, and there's a road here and a road here. And there's a big old walnut tree right here on the corner. And it's kind of hard to mow around there. There's a sidewalk here and a sidewalk there. And last year, I planted some, it's a vine that just kind of will branch out. It's a ground cover vine, and it's doing okay. It came back this year. But I said, why don't we just plant plants in this corner here? And he said, well, I used to have them, but they all kind of died out. Well, I said, let's transplant some of those hostas. So I got him convinced. And we planted at least 30. It had to be 30 hosta plants around that walnut tree. Oh, my goodness. I was so tired. But he did most of the hard work with the digging and everything. He got out his tiller and tilled all around that tree. And then I went in and dug the little holes for each plant and then planted each one, put water and planted. We'll see how they do there. Hostas are traditionally a shady plant, and that it gets sunlight, but it'll get a lot of shade from the tree too. So, and I was thinking when I came in, I thought, boy, how does Aunt Beck do all that work every weekend with that house? I could never keep up with Aunt Beck and Scott, what they do every weekend with their house. I was so tired yesterday. I came in and I said, I'm not streaming on a Sunday night. I'm going to sleep. Hi, Christine. Good morning. Welcome. You passed 3 accidents yesterday. Oh, Aunt Beck. I think one involved a death. Oh, my goodness. Oh, that's sad. And then a lady nearly hit me. Scott had to lock up the brakes. Oh, my goodness. Oh, how scary. Oh, I'm glad you're okay, Aunt Beck. We won't want you in an accident. We want you alive. You had him stop for a quick dinner at Bojangles just to calm down. Those near misses, they are scary. They can get you shaken, I'll tell you. I never made I still have my walnuts. I'm going to make them. I was going to make them this winter, but in the wintertime, you kind of close up the house, because it's cold outside. And they say that they can get, when you make that walnut ink, it can get kind of stinky. So you have ventilation. So you need to have, ventilation. So I thought I'd wait until it got a little warmer out so I could open the kitchen door if I needed to. But that is on my list to do, Azure. I noticed that, Azure, that you were in Rosemary's chat last night. I was listening. I listened to a good portion of Rosemary do her echo dyeing last night. Oh, they were beautiful. And I thought about that walnut ink. All right, I got the color. The color, my favorite color is right now in 2019. And as I say, for favorites, I'm going to date these because my favorites can change at any time. The color is gold. And then my palette, when I work, I lean toward the earth tones and muted colors and neutrals. I'm not a person that does a lot of bright colors, although I can go for a bright yellow. I can go for a bright yellow, or I might put a white on there to make things pop. So whatever appeals to me at the time. All right, the next favorite question is, what is your favorite craft? So we all know, if you can call art journaling and art a craft, I'm going to put art there and art journaling. I'm not sure that qualifies as a craft, but that's what I do a lot of. Art, journaling, and drawing. I like to draw. Drawing is probably my biggest talent in art. I really do believe if you have your drawing skills down, everything else will come. And I'm still working on my drawing skills. I'm kind of I learn. I don't call myself an expert. I like to draw faces. In art journaling, I think I don't go so much for do a page with a theme and put a quote on it. I have, but I go for more the experimenting and whatever's happening at a time. I love the pick 10s. I love to do those. I like to watch my page just kind of happen on my page. And I love composites. And by composites, I mean when I'm art journaling, it amazes me how I can pull things from one thing, one area, and pull something else from another area. And maybe 3 weeks ago I will have gotten something that just coordinates with it. I love how that all comes together when I'm working, and it just seems to coordinate into a story on my page. And it amazes me how I can pull all these elements from different things that I got, different places that I got at different times, and how they seem to come together. And I was thinking about that, and I think that has a lot to do with your personal style. When you're out doing your thrifting and when you're out shopping, you because of your taste, your artistic tastes and backgrounds, when you're choosing something at the thrift store, you might go for something that like I always go to the books, and I love the history books. So I'm always grabbing history books, which kind of goes in with my muted color palette, the earth tones and the naturals and vintage. I'm more of a vintage type person. So I think that when you're pulling all these things together, when you're doing a project, I think a lot of it has to do with your style. And I think that's why a lot of times things come together on your page. That's my current thought on that. Let's see what's going on in chat here. Christine said, bad accident on the main road too here. They're talking about car accidents. Yeah, Rosemary Morris does beautiful echo dyeing. I'm thinking about going out in the yard and trying some of that. I was wondering, Well, and also you can, you can dry flowers in the microwave. I was thinking I'd try some of that. We got some hyacinths I noticed in the yard yesterday. I'm going to go out today and pick some hyacinths and see if I can dry them in the microwave. Of course, now they'll shrivel up to be tiny pieces, but if you get several of them, and I was wondering how they would eco dye. Hyacinths ours are a blue purple color. And we've got a lot of them just growing out volunteer in the yard. We're talking about Rosemary Morris does a lot of eco dyeing. And Beck is talking about driving. I told Scott everyone was driving like they were jacked up on candy and were driving like toddlers. Yeah, holiday traffic is something else, isn't it? I'm glad you were able to avoid those accidents. Becky, in a few days, I will be driving in the USA. You just, I always tell my brother when he takes out to go visit my grandniece, I tell him to be careful. And he says, well, I always am. And I always say to him, look out for the other guy because he's not looking out for you. You just can't count on the other person being careful. You have to watch not only what you're doing when you're driving, but you've got to watch out for that other guy because, their attention may not be on the road. Storytelling, Aunt Beck says. Yeah, I'm going through, Aunt Beck, I'm answering all the questions on the back of this rabbit that Dede sent me. She said she'd send me the rabbit, but I had to answer all these questions, so I'm mind mapping it. So I'm doing the real boring thing for you. I'm mind mapping Meri. This might take a while. I'm not telling you all the really personal stuff, but I might add some things in there. Just be mindful that people lose their minds in the mornings, evenings, and weekends. Yeah, out on the roads. Got to be careful driving. Yeah, she's telling that to Linda. When Linda is coming, Linda is McAllister's from the Netherlands, and she's been looking forward to coming to the States for, I think she's going to be here several weeks in the western part of the United States. So, and she's going to be driving. They're going to be camping. So, gosh, I wish I lived out there, Linda. I wish I had a lot of money. I'd go out and meet you. But maybe another time when it's both convenient for both of us. As far as I'm concerned, 75% of the people have lost their minds all the time. People, they're not considerate. When they're driving, it's me first, me first. I noticed that here in Nebraska. And Nebraska is kind of a little bit slower traffic-wise than like California and the East Coast and West Coast, Texas, and we're not big city people, but there's still accidents here in Nebraska. It's always me first. And we have a lot of big grain trucks, and those big semi-trucks, they'll get right up on your tail. And they'll get up on your back bumper, and it just drives me crazy. Here you are, this big semi-truck, and I'm going the speed limit, and they don't want to go the speed limit. They want to go here in Nebraska on our highways. We used to have a 65. Well, it depends on where you are. Some of the roads we still have 65 mile hour speed limit, but because Nebraska is such a big open state, in some parts of the state they've opened it up to 70 miles an hour going down the road, and I'm just going, it's crazy when you're going that fast in one of those big old huge semis. I don't know, I get mad at them. And Beck says, I need to pull out that book on smashing flowers that I found at the thrift store. Yes, you do. Yes, you do, Aunt Beck. I'm going to go out there this morning, and I noticed there are some dandelions in the yard, too. I'm going to, dandelions, when you heat those in the microwave, they kind of get stinky. And you can't leave them in there so long that they turn brown, because they will turn brown, and they'll kind of stink. But you have to leave them in there enough so that they'll dry, too. that dandelions are and hyacinths, I don't know. I've never dried a hyacinth in the microwave, mostly because they come and go before I get a chance to pick them. But I'm going to try if they're still out there today. I like the idea of her asking the florist for flower scraps. Yes, I was thinking too. This is the time of the year when I don't know what your local stores do, but like our True Value Hardware and Walmart and our Earl May, some of the big local places will put all their garden stuff outside in a parking lot, and you could almost bend down and take an empty little container and just fill it as you're picking your plants, and take it up to the register and explain you pick those off the ground. Can you just have them? And then if the clerk says no, you can just set them aside. But I might try that this year. I haven't done any eco dyeing yet. That's still something I want to try. I was watching Rosemary last night. I was thinking, how beautiful, what a beautiful job she does. And as Mitzi says, and add to that, lots are high too. We're talking about the reckless drivers on some sort of drugs. Yes, you don't want to be operating a car while you're high on drugs. Hi, Lori Loves Montana. Good morning. Good morning to you. They're saying good morning to Lori. Linda's going to be driving an RV, a Class C, 24-foot. We will be grateful you're not driving in India. It might be perfect, but at least we have rules. Yes, and Mexico used to be like that too. I know when I was in college, I went down to Mexico with a group of friends. And it was crazy. The driving was crazy. There was, you go to an intersection and it's first come, first serve, and watch out. Mexico's kind of a free for all. It was several years ago. Linda says, not sure if Meri wants that language on her channel, Christine. Oh. Thank you for retracting that. I just don't want to get demonetized. I love you. Although I am not above saying some nasty words sometimes. Believe me, I'm human. Scott does 80 half the time. Oh, 80. Oh my goodness. I don't know. I would probably be telling Scott to slow down and back. 80? No, I did drive on buses, but never. You drove buses? Well, you'll do. If you drove buses, you should do okay with your RV. Hi, Rhonda. Good morning. Yes, we had a wonderful Easter here. It was so beautiful. I actually got up early yesterday and I just enjoyed a quiet time. It was just a quiet Sunday morning. Dandelions are quite the medicinal flower. Oh, that's interesting. They're saying good morning to Rhonda. What states are you going to? She's asking Linda. At the roots and greens are good to eat of the dandelion. Yeah, but we wouldn't do that here because of all the weed killer and all the weird stuff that they put on the lawns. So if you grow them naturally, organically. Where in California are you visiting? We go all over the place. I need my glasses and coffee, Aunt Beck says. I'll be right back. All right. They're talking about driving RVs. Linda's going to be RVing. I've always wanted to do an RV. In fact, that's my next question. What is your favorite vacation? And my favorite vacation is the one I haven't taken yet. And this really leads into this next question. The favorite vacation, I do like staycations. I like staycations where you just stay at home. Let's put vacation. But I have always had a dream of going on a big, long vacation, time-wise, like, a year, and taking an RV. So I'm going to put let's see, the one I haven't taken, and that's where I do kind of like what Linda's doing, only here in the States. She's coming from Netherlands to the USA. I wouldn't have the courage to drive all around Europe in an RV. I'd get lost. But the one where I drive an RV and do urban sketching and urban sketch in USA and all the states. That would be something that I've always dreamt of doing. That's one of my dreams. I might be able to do that someday, but not quite yet. An urban sketch in every state. So that's something I haven't done. But other than that, some I have done is the staycations. I like to stay home. Staycations. I love doing my art in the summer, and when I wasn't working, to be able to stay home for 3 or 4 weeks at a time was a treat when I was working. So those are kind of two. The one that I haven't taken where I drive the RV and urban sketch in every state, and then the one that I have taken was staycations. Your favorite coffee or tea? Well, I really don't have a favorite tea, but I do have a favorite coffee, and my favorite coffee is Gevalia coffee. I like it. Not only can I get it 20 ounces for fairly a good price, but I do drink a lot of Gevalia coffee, and I'm not going to spell it right. Gev. I think I'm going to look it up because I want this to be neat. Let's look up see, I got up at 4. There's my alarm. I'm going to look up the spelling of Gevalia here. Geval. Come on, phone. Gevaila. Geviala. Gevalia coffee is my favorite, and of course, you know I love hazelnut. I'm a hazelnut crazy person for hazelnut coffee, but I will drink the other blends. I usually drink a medium blend. I could go for the bold, but it keeps me awake. And the mild blend is too mild for me. Tea, I really don't have a favorite tea. I drink a lot of Celestial Seasonings Black Cherry, and that's what I'm going to put. Celestial Seasonings Black, when I can get it. You can't always get it. Celestial Seasons, is it Seasons? That's what I'm going to put. I'm not sure if it's Seasons or Seasonings, but Black Cherry. I like my Black Cherry, and I like peach. Black Cherry and peach. Tea. All right. My favorite animal. Well, here's the thing with animals. I don't have a lot. We had animals. We had dogs and cats when we were kids. Mom let us have a dog and cat, but I don't keep animals generally because when I worked, I moved around a lot because I was a consultant. So I didn't want to do that to animals. I really, in real life, I don't have a favorite animal. But I'm going to put storybook animals because it isn't that I don't like animals. It's just that for me, animals have not been practical in my life. I've never wanted to subject an animal to moving as much as I moved. So I love storybook animals. I love to read animal stories. I love Aunt Beck's kitties. the closest thing the closest thing to animals in my life have been the stray kitties that come around here. So, but I'm going to put storybook animals. I'm going to leave it at that. I don't have a lot to say about animals. Motif or symbol? Well, here too, I like a lot of different motifs. I like to doodle. I've got into this doodling from public domain art. Whoops, I guess motif or symbol. And I'm going to put, though, for my logo, I have a logo. Penelope is my logo. And I had a laugh at Beth Schuler. I was in her chat one day and she was talking about my icon. And she says, click on that clown. I'm going, clown, that's Penelope. We got her there. And Penelope is actually spelled P-I-N, not P-E-N. It's Penelope because she's a pincushion doll. So it's Penelope. Penelope probably is my most favorite motif or symbol, but I like to doodle. And here again, this is where a couple years ago, before I latched on to Penelope, I like to do a lot of scissors. So I actually have 3 or 4 favorites here, but Penelope right now takes first place. And then my doodles. And a couple years ago, I was always doing these scissors and dress forms and that. So that's kind of a changeable thing. My favorite memory. I thought about this when I was reading these questions and going, I don't really have a memory that I have some personal ones that I really don't want to talk about here. They're more spiritual. Well, maybe I will because they mean a lot to me, but just take this as not being preachy, okay? Actually, it was a dream. And it must have meant something to me at the time because it's still as vivid to me today as it was several years ago. And the dream was I walked into this room, and I guess you could call it God's den, but I didn't see God there. I don't want to get into that. It wasn't like I saw God, but I saw this great big, think of it as being like a den in a house where there's a library and an easy chair and a reading lamp. Well, I knew this belonged to God. This was God's den. But beside this big old easy chair were all these shoe boxes stacked up. And I asked, what are all these shoe boxes sitting here for? By the easy chair. Well, here again, like I didn't see God, but I heard God. I'm dreaming this. And he said, well, those are where when I want to read your prayers, I stuff all your prayers in there in the different shoe boxes. And when I'm alone, I go back and I read through all your prayers. And I thought, that was my dream. So now when I go into my own spiritual devotional life, I say, okay, God, pull out my brother's shoebox. I'm gonna fill it with some prayers for him, or pull out the shoebox for our country. I want to add some prayers into there. I want to stuff some prayers in there. So so I'm busy filling God's shoebox full of prayers so that when he gets bored and needs something to read, some prayers to answer, he's got some shoeboxes to go through. So that's kind of one of my favorite. It's kind of a memory because it's a memory of a dream. So I'm just going to put memory, dream memory, dream memory, and it means a lot to me because it means personally, it means to me that I know that God not only hears my prayers, but he goes back and he reviews them. It isn't like, okay, Meri, I heard you. Time's up, and it's over with. No, it's like I pray, then I go on with my day, and God goes on with ruling the universe. But he comes back and he opens up those shoes. He settles down in that big old easy chair, and he settles down and he goes, "What was it Meri was saying to me?" And he reads my prayers again, you know? And that has always meant a lot. And that is an old dream. I must have dreamt that 25, 30 years ago. But it meant a lot to me personally. And like I said, don't take this like I'm preaching to you, but this is all about Meri. So I'm going to put dream memory of shoebox prayers. And we're going to leave it at that. All right. The next one is the veggie that you don't like. Unliked veggie. She put unliked veggie. I think it would have to be jalapenos. If you can call a jalapeno pepper a veggie. I can't eat them because they're too strong for me. I guess the mild ones would be okay. But like we went out to Olive Garden for our Easter dinner, and Olive Garden always brings these big salads, and then everybody, makes their little salad on their plate. And I pulled out a jalapeno. I better look up how to spell it. I know it's spelled with a J. Let's see, jalapeno. Oops. Jalapeno, Jala, jalapeno chili peppers, Jala, Pemo peppers. I love peppers. I love red peppers and yellow peppers and green peppers, but they're mild. Well, the red ones can get hot, but the jalapeno peppers, no way. Not for me. My favorite time of day. I really don't have a favorite time of day, but I do enjoy these early morning hours. I enjoy the early morning hours. On the mornings that I stream, I think I get more art done. My mind is fresh. But also on the days that I don't stream, when I am awake, when I'm not awake, I get to sleep in, and I love that. So you could call that favorite. But when the days I don't stream, those hours from 4:30 to 6:30 a.m., I like those days, that time of day. It seems like my mind is fresh. My mind has been rested, unless I couldn't sleep. And if I had, it's my favorite time of day. But that doesn't mean that I don't like the other parts of the day. But I like the morning hours. I especially like, now that I'm retired, any time of day. And I'm grateful for the times that I do have. Let's see. The next one is season. And here again, I like all the seasons, but I have to say that spring rates up there for me. Spring. I love the spring. I love when we're just starting our gardens. Oh, this should be. I'm going to make an E out of this. Season. And let's see. Let's do little arrows here. Let's arch this up a little. So, Dede, I hope you're getting all of this down. Season, I'm going to put spring. Because I love the flowers and planting the garden, and the grass is young and tender. I love all those things about spring. Now, I love summer too. Even summer gets hot. August gets stifling hot. But there's a reason for that. So I love all the seasons. I love the 4 seasons. I love autumn. I love the colors of autumn. I love winter because you're in the house and it's nice and cozy. You seem to be. I do a lot more art journaling in the winter because I'm inside. But yeah, I have to say spring is my favorite season. Flower. Oh, that's a toughie. What is my favorite flower? I love all flowers. I don't have a favorite. However, if I have to pick a special one, I love fuchsias. I love the fuchsia plants. The fuchsia, they hang down. Fuchsia. Let me go out and look how to spell it. I want to keep my spelling halfway decent here. Fush. Fuchsia. Fuchsia. It's got the C. So I'm going to put the Fuschia. It's a hanging plant, and it just, a beautiful one that's well kept up will just kind of flow down out of the pot that has these beautiful blooms on it that kind of like little bell shapes with the little, just beautiful plants. So, but I love all flowers. I love our hostas. I love petunias. I love zinnias because they're so easy to grow. Especially here, I don't have any trouble growing zinnias. I love marigolds because they keep all the pests away. We have a lot of marigolds around the house and around the garden. And I love a lot of flowers that I can't get to grow. I've been trying for the last 20 years to grow a lavender plant. And one of the gals last year was telling me that they love rotten soil. And I'm going, well, we have rotten soil, but I can't get one to grow in it. So I planted 2 last year, and I'm going to go out there and see if they're going to come back. They sort of grew last year, but they were stunted. And I thought, well, maybe it takes a year for them to catch on. I cannot grow a lavender plant. So there are a lot of flowers that I like that I can't get to grow. But I have to say fuchsia is my favorite. Let's see. I'm just going to go down and just chat about all of this to get it done. The next one is food. What is my favorite food? Oh, what's my favorite food? Well, that depends on, are we talking meals or snack foods or favorite food? I like all foods. Well, no, I don't either. There are a lot of foods that I don't like. Believe it or not, I don't like chicken. I don't care for wild game. I'm telling you foods that I don't like. I don't care for wild game, like if my brother goes fishing or hunting and brings home a deer or something. I don't eat a lot of wild game. Gosh, I don't know what to say for favorite food because I'm going, do you want real food or do you want, what should I say? I think I'm just going to go for steak. I like steak. You can feed me a good old steak any time of the day. And it really doesn't matter whether it's a T-bone or sirloin, or just so it's nice and tender, and and it doesn't have to be. It has. I like my steak well done. And of course, you know, you have to have the potatoes with it. And we steamed asparagus yesterday. That was good. Of course, we had asparagus with hamburger. We didn't have steak. So yeah, I'm going to leave steak well done as my favorite food because I'll eat that anytime. Now the actor, my favorite actor. I know this is boring to you guys, but we'll do it because these are the questions I have to answer. My favorite actor, and I was stumbling over this in Dede's live stream, and Janet Young said, "Say Sean Connery." So I said Sean Connery, but I was thinking about it. You know, I don't watch a lot of TV. I never did. When we were growing up, we never had a television in our house until I was in the 8th or 9th grade. And then, you know, that was way back in the late 50s, the early 60s. Well, I shouldn't say that, not the late 50s. I was young in the late 50s, but we didn't get a TV until maybe the mid 60s, 65, 66, up in there. So I never watched a lot of TV as a youngster. Now, I think I watched more when my high school years, but then I read a lot then too. So I never was hooked on something. And then when I graduated from high school, I went to college and then I worked. And, you know, when you work, sometimes you come home and watch TV, but you come home and you crash, you're tired. So I can't say that I have favorite actors. Never went to a lot of movies because they were too expensive for me. I can't spend $8 or $9 for a movie ticket. But there is one show that I did like, and that was Magnum PI. And I'm going to put, now this is dating me, Tom Selleck. I like Tom Selleck. I like him as a person, but I also liked him, and I'm probably spelling his name wrong too. Let's go back and see how you spell Tom Selleck. And this is actor, not actress. So Tom, I think it's S-E-L-L. Yeah, S-E-L-L-E-C-K. I think in Magnum PI, I think that I probably, if I had to pick a favorite now, I said Sean Connery because Janet told me to. I couldn't think of anybody in the stream. And they kept telling me, don't answer us now, Meri, don't answer us now. So, see, I'm not going through on any of these. So I'm okay with the black on here. So I'm going to put Tom Selleck, color combo. Well, here again, color combos kind of go up here. And I'm going to put it up here. I'm going to put combo here. Color combo up here. Because I got room for it. And it really belongs up here. And right now in 2019, which I keep saying, my favorites could change at any time. But right now it's black and gold. Black and gold. But that could change at any time. I'm not saying that for the rest of my life I'm going to like black and gold. But in the year 2019, my favorite color combo is black and gold. My favorite movie, and now here again, I don't go to a lot of movies. So I really don't have a favorite movie. I haven't been to a movie. I watched some movies on my phone here recently. But I really don't go to a lot of movies. The last movie I went to, I think, was Saving Mr. Banks. And I'm not saying that was my favorite. I think I'm going to put Alice in Wonderland. Because I really don't have a favorite. I'm not a movie buff. But I'll put Alice in Wonderland just to have an answer. Alice in Wonderland. I don't go, well, for one thing, movies, you know, they have a good movie. Good movie's hard to find. Book book or author? My favorite book. Now, here again, don't think I'm preaching at you. This is my favorites. My favorite book has to be the Bible. It's where I get my life guidance. But if you're talking novels, let's see. I love all the books. Rather than put a book, I'm going to put the type of book. I like historical novels. I love history, and I love novels that are based on history. Like, it seems like I've been picking up a lot of books lately about World War II. The last one I read was titled The Lost Girls of Paris. And it was really interesting because it were all these, it was called the SOE. I can't remember what it stood for, but it's these ladies in England that joined like a spy network, a secret service network, and they went into occupied France when France during World War II was occupied by the Nazis. And, they went in as radio operators generally. Some went in as messengers, but they went in to an occupied territory, an enemy territory, and especially if they could speak the language, like most of them had French as a second language, so they would fit in with that culture. So, but they risked their life. They risked their life doing that, and a lot of them lost their life doing that. I mean, they were caught by the Germans, eventually caught on to what was going on, and some of them were sent to concentration camps. Some of them made it out, though. Some of them made it through and lived into the 2000s. So I like historical novels. What books am I reading now? Well, I am reading another, it's called Orphan Trail or something like that. I checked it out. I haven't started reading it yet, but it's by the same author that wrote this Lost Girls of Paris, and it's also based on World War II. But I am reading at your suggestion. Somebody in here, we got to talking about the Outlander series, and you guys told me you have to start with book 1, so I started reading it, and it's an interesting book. I like the plot. I like the general theme behind it, but she could leave a lot of the sex out. Every chapter they're having sex. I'm going, what are they going to do in this chapter? So I can understand why that television series was not on a main channel. I get it. People go for that. But I don't mind it. I can take those kind of things when I read, but I don't care for it in every chapter. I swear it's every chapter. And I'm going, if this whole series is going to be written like this, I don't know if I'm going to finish it. Simply because I just don't enjoy it. I mean, I accept it, and I accept that other people enjoy it, but I like the plot of the book. I love where she kind of goes back into time, and I love that plot as far as the history part. But I am not enjoying every chapter there being a sexy. I mean, 3 pages of it, I get sick of reading it. I go, okay, I get it. You did that in the last chapter. So that's my main criticism of that book. She's a well-known author, and she's good, and it's a well-loved series, but I'm not so sure that I'm enjoying it. So we'll go on to the next one. But my favorite book is the Bible, which, by the way, has sex in it, and I like historical novels. I love to read historical novels. I'm not looking at chat while I'm doing this. I want to get this. This is me answering all Dede's questions. Era or time period? Well, you know, I'm grateful for the time that I live in. And so I'm going to say currently, you know, era or time period. I love today. We have so much today to be grateful for. We have so much today to be grateful for that if I lived in any other time period, I don't think I would be happy. So I'm going to put current, current, current. That really is my favorite. I believe that when we come into our life, that we're put where we should be. And, you know, you can go into all sorts of philosophy about that I'm not going to touch on. However, if I have to go back into history and choose one where I think is interesting and I enjoy reading it, I enjoy the art, I enjoy everything about it. They have their troubles too. Every time period has trouble. So we have our troubles today. We have troubles with drugs, and in the States here, we have troubles, immigration troubles, and our Congress is always fighting. They can't seem to get together to lead our country. That troubles me. We have our political troubles. We have troubles in our community. But you know, they did 100 years ago. They had immigration troubles. There were people in the 1800s that got turned away from coming to the United States, mostly because of, you know, things like smallpox or, you know, something like that. But don't think that everybody stepped across the United States in the 1890s, because they didn't. If they came in lawfully and went through the I can't think of it now, back east where they processed the immigrants, there were a lot of people that were turned away to go back. Not everybody was accepted. So I guess the point of I'm saying is that every generation has something to deal with. There are wars. We have wars. They had wars. So no generation is a perfect time to live, but I do like the 1890s to through the 1920s. I do like that period. I don't know if you can call that the Victorian era, but I love that period where there seemed to be a lot of inventing going on, photography, the art. I love that whole time period to where here in the United States, the Depression hadn't hit. 1890s, there were still people immigrating. Of course, my family immigrated. My great-great-grandmothers and grandfathers immigrated to the States. So, but they didn't have it perfect. They didn't have the perfect. All right, let's go on. Mary's just chattering. It's my mind map. My favorite art supply. Now you're thinking that I'm going to say fine line applicators, aren't you? I don't have a favorite art supply. I love to explore the art supplies. But I think, well, art supply. I don't know if I have a favorite. I usually go by, look, I'm using these Pen Plus Gear markers. I like markers. I like to draw. I like to urban sketch, so I like watercolor to urban sketch. I like my fine line applicators, but just because I use them a lot doesn't mean that they're my absolute favorite. I'm exploring now the acrylic paints. But I can't say that I'm an acrylic painter. I can't say that I'm a watercolor artist. I think I'm going to put here, talking through it, I'm going to put art journaling. I do a lot of art journaling. So I'm going to put art journaling supplies. Anything that I can put into an art journal. And that could be a whole range of, or mixed media. Mixed media might be the best answer to that, because mixed media covers a lot of things. I like the matte mediums because I can block out on this side and not ruin what's over here. So I like things for different reasons, but that doesn't mean it's my favorite. I'm just about done here. My favorite dessert. I don't have a favorite dessert either because I like all desserts. I'll eat just about everything. I don't eat a lot of cake, but that doesn't mean I don't like cake. What is my favorite though? What do I eat a lot of? I eat a lot of popcorn, but I can't say that's my favorite. I think I'm going to say ice cream. I like ice cream. I'm going to put ice cream. I like my Dairy Queen ice cream cones, but I like any type of ice cream. So that's my favorite dessert. My favorite TV show. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch YouTube. You didn't ask me my favorite YouTube channel. My favorite TV show. My favorite TV show. I don't watch a lot of TV. I watch what my brother watches because I like to see him enjoy things. I have to think in the past when I watched more television. I'm just going to put, what am I going to put? I don't know. I don't know as if I have a favorite because I don't watch a lot of TV. I'm not reading chat. I'm thinking. You know what I really liked? I liked when HDV had those art games. Was it HDTV or the public service channel? One of those channels had an art game show. That's what I'm going to put. And that was not art game shows. That was not generally out there as a well-known series. But that, I have to say, that was my favorite. And probably because, or I could put craft and art shows. Because they don't do a lot of that on national TV, I think that's why I gravitated toward YouTube, where I could find what I enjoy and how I found all of you. I'm on YouTube. Well, if you could check my time you spend on YouTube, I'd be ashamed. I spend a lot of time watching art videos. So I think public TV could learn a lot from YouTube, as much as I get angry at YouTube for different reasons. The last one of my favorites for Dede's questions is my favorite fast food. And I had trouble with this one too, because lately, in the last 5 years, I don't eat a lot of fast food. Yes, I do go out occasionally, but I don't, no, I don't eat a lot of fast food. And I guess if you could qualify it as fast food, like, go out and get a hamburger or something like that, it's what I think of fast food. Drive up to or go to well, I don't know. But yeah, what I like is Jimmy John's sandwiches. And if you've ever had a Jimmy John's submarine sandwich, I like the Italian submarines, Italian subs. If I had a choice between a hamburger and fries or a Jimmy John Italian sub sandwich, I would go for this any day. I would almost go for this over a steak. So I'm going to call it a fast food because it's where you walk in, you can carry it out. It's a carry out. You can sit in there and eat it too. It's like Subway. So that's my favorite. So I answered all of Dede's questions here. Now, what am I going to do over here? Oh, I'm going to bore you guys stiff and silly. I'm going to bore you silly because I'm not done yet. This is my Meri mind map. We talked about favorites. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my family. Let's see. I'm going to put family here. These are all my favorites here from Dede. I'm going to put from Dede Willingham here. Questions from Dede. Oops, I'm going to have to write sideways. Questions from Dede, which is kind of crazy writing here, but all right. So here I'm going to put family. I'm going to tell you a little bit about my family, not personal stuff. I'll put here. This was a question asked in Dede's live, and I answered it in the live. So you might be wondering, was I ever married? No, I've never been married, but I've been in love. I'm over it now. So, who knows? Life isn't over with. I don't have anything against marriage, but my life journey did not take me down that path. That's how I answer that. I'm not let's put lifestyle. I guess you can say I'm straight. I'm not gay. I don't have anything against gay people, but if you want to know, and you know, some people, when you're single past the age 35 or 40, people start thinking that maybe you're gay. And, you know, that's not particularly true. My life journey did not lead me toward having a family, getting married, and having a family. I had other goals in life, especially when I was younger. I wanted a career. And I guess I got a career. Was I happy with it? It was, in the end, I felt like, because I'm a reluctant retiree, it did not end like I would have wanted my career to end. I don't think I achieved all my career goals, but would I go down the same path, if I could go back? The answer would be yes. I think I read a book about, it was a historical novel book, but it was about a young boy in Russia. And the theme of the book took him two different directions. Him and his mother, the Gestapo killed his father. So him and his mother fled Russia. Well, at the point, he had to make a decision. Was he going to go to England, or was he going to go to America? And the theme of the book kind of took him down two different, this entire novel based what his life would have been like if he would have made a decision each way. And I often wonder, when I was 18 years old, 19 years old, if I would have chosen a different path and maybe had a family, had kids, you know, would I be happier than I am today? I'm not unhappy with my life. I'm a reluctant retiree. There were some things in my career that I don't think that I achieved, but there were a lot of roadblocks, and I jumped over a lot of roadblocks to get as far as I went. And I'm happy that I got that far. And I learned a lot about life. If you would have seen me at 18 or 19 years old, I was a very quiet, introverted person. I don't call myself shy. I don't think I was shy, but I'm still kind of introverted. But I don't think that if I would have gotten out into the work world, gotten out, lived life on my own, went through all the struggles of trying to find a place to live, cars, trying to get bank loans, all of that. if I wouldn't have, even going to school, what was I going to do in school? What path was I going to go? I could have stayed home. My dad would have wanted me to stay home and have 12 kids. Well, that wasn't really what I wanted. And I often wonder, where would I be if I would have stayed home and married a local farmer? Would I be happier? I think I could have been happy doing that, but that wasn't my life path. Now, I will say, I'm going to put down here that I don't have a gay lifestyle. I'm not a homosexual. I have been accused of that in my life, and that hurts. That hurts a lot. It hurts more than being gay and being harassed because you're gay. It hurts a lot when you're not gay. You're just a single lady and you're accused of being something you're not. And I have had some of my very best friends accuse me of that. And it hurts. It hurts deeply. But I've forgiven them. I believe in forgiveness. I believe in doing what you can to get along with people, but that doesn't mean you have to agree with everybody. But I do want to say in here, for your information, I'm not gay, okay? But that doesn't mean that I have anything against gay people. That's not my lifestyle. All right. I've never been married, but I've been in love. I've been as close in love as I probably think anybody can get. Well, as a single person. But now I want to get off of that, and I want to get into. So you're going to hear me talk about my parents. My parents met and were married in 1944. They met at a Navy ammunition depot just a few miles down the road. But met at, I'm just going to put Navy ammunition depot here in Hastings. My dad was a school teacher. He was actually a principal. He taught in a lot of small schools. When I was a young girl, he lost his hearing aid, and he lost his hearing, and he refused to wear a hearing aid, so he quit teaching. But my dad was smart, and my dad was handsome. So I'm going to put smart and handsome school teacher. Smart, handsome school teacher, because I was a daddy's girl. I was kind of like a tom girl when I grew up. I was not a girly girl. And my mother never worked outside the home. She was a homemaker. My father was very much against her working outside the home. That was just the era that they grew up in. Very much small town people. They were married until my father passed away. I mean, they're still married. They were married all their life. So I had good parents. We were not rich by any means. My parents struggled financially, but we were happy. You know that story. So as for siblings, I have one sister who's passed away now, and my sister was my childhood idol. I'm not going to give her name here. I'm just going to put sister. And she was very talented. She was talented in art. And between my mother and my sister was probably how I first got started with my art. I idolized my sister. My sister painted some acrylics that I have today in storage, of course, and I still have them, and I love them. But later in life, when I tried to get my sister to do some collaborative art with me, she refused to do it. She didn't want anything to do with art. She thought that making cards was an old-timey pastime, you know. And she wasn't going to have anything to do with it because she was more active than that. So, but she was as smart as my dad. I'm going to put she was smart. She was valedictorian of her class in a small school. I don't know if she would have been the same in a larger school, or she would have had more competition. I got something here that's the tube from when I was making ink. But she was also president, pep club president. She was everything I wanted to be. She was the person that I looked up to when I was a young girl. She was a cheerleader in our school. She was a cheerleader. She was a star volleyball player. She was just everything. She was just, you know, one of those high school stars. I wasn't so much. I looked up to her. She was my childhood idol. Now, when I went through my high school years, and like I said, I got out and I started finding myself, my sister wasn't, you know, I started finding out who I was, not who my sister was. But when I was young, she was my childhood idol. I looked up to her a lot. She's passed away now. She passed away in 2007. So I have an older brother. I'm going to put older sister. I have an older brother who I speak well of. My older brother, I told him once, you'll always be my older brother. He's given me a home and a roof above my head, where today I have to tell you, I would be homeless if he wouldn't offered me a roof over my head. So his personality, he's very laid back personality. He doesn't argue. He's kind of quiet. He's got his opinions, but he keeps it to himself. He doesn't get into arguments and family feuds and that. He will just go quiet on that stuff. And it does come up in our family. We're just a family like everybody else. He likes to fish. I order wax worms for him. He'll pay $30 for 500 wax worms. That's how I justify buying my art. I go, if you can buy worms, I can buy paint. He was married and he got a divorce about 20 years into his marriage, and he had a significant other. He lived with his significant other who passed away in 2013. She had cancer. So